Hi there. So I thought I'd do another quick demo of the SDD99. This time focusing on the P-code system that's built into the SDD. Figuring that probably few people actually own a P-code card or have tried to use it in an emulator. So the P-code system is built into the main SDD menu, as you can see. You could disable that, but for now we of course want it, so I'll press 3 to start the P-code system. And that'll take a while, and you'll hear a sequence of beeps while it starts up, basically indicating progress. On the SDD, however, it doesn't actually take that much time because the access to the disk is of course much faster. And there we are. That's the main menu of the P-code system. You see some version information, some bad date, and at the top you have the main menu. And this is not the entire menu. You can scroll through the entries by pressing question mark, which is a bit inconvenient on the TI, but then you have, for example, the filer, compiler, linker, execute, assembler, debugger, halt, initialize, user restart, monitor, and then we at the start the editor and run. Now, the most important entries are the editor and the compiler for compiling Pascal programs. We, however, will enter the filer by pressing F. And again, that will take some little time, because all of these programs, including the main menu, are written in Pascal. So the P-code card actually interprets the compiled Pascal program. Okay, so there we are. Again, we have more entries here, and I'm typing V to list the available volumes here. Now, a volume can be thought of as a virtual disk. In some cases, it actually corresponds to a floppy disk. Even though we don't have floppy disks on the SDD system, we do have disk images. Anyway, so we see number 4 is the P-code disk, and volume number 5 is the user disk. The original P-code card comes with 4 single-sided, single-density disks, which is inconvenient because we only have 3 drives for the P-code system. So what I did with the help of Anders Patterson is that I copied all of those disks to a double-sided, double-density disk, and this is this volume number 4 P-code. And then I also have a blank disk, which is this P-user disk, which can then contain programs you create. Of course, that disk image should be configurable. Okay, so we've seen enough, so let's quit again, and we'll be back at the main command prompt. And this time I'll start the editor by pressing E. Alright, so here's the editor. To start, it asks me for a work file, which is basically a scratch file where we could enter our program into if we don't have a specific name. Always supply a file name. I'll just press enter here. And there's the editor. At the top we see 2 lines of menu. and a cursor, but surprisingly we can't actually just type ahead, because whenever we press a key we just invoke the menu on top. So instead we first have to go into insert mode, which is a little bit like the Vim editor if you know it. Okay, so press I and now we're in insert mode. You also see some cryptic stuff at the top line. The important stuff is that ETX accepts what we type here and also quits the editor, whereas escape quits the editor but discards what we typed. And on the TI, ETX is surprisingly Control-C, which usually stands for abort. Okay, but anyway, so let's start our, I should depress alpha lock because I haven't actually tested if it is case sensitive, but it looks nicer if we're using case. So let's call our program my program, and we're using the output to print something on the screen. Okay, then we say begin. Oops. And now we just write something to the screen with a new line, and then we have to make a space before the open parenthesis. I found this by trial and error. And then we say hello world. And then we say and colon, like that. Of course I cannot really write Pascal, it's just what I typed from a programming book on Pascal, which I got 30 years ago. But anyway, so we want to accept now, so that's Control and C. And yes, we see the menu again. But nothing else actually happened, just means we left the insert mode again. And if we check the menu again, there is actually no save command. What we have to do instead is we quit, and then the editor will ask us what we want to do. So in our case, we will write it to a file. So we press W, and then we say, that should be in uppercase, I guess, the P user disk, and then the file should be hello. There are actually two ways to specify a file. This corresponds to saying disk.name.filename. I could also say instead, so remember the P user was volume number 5, so instead I could say #5 hello, which would correspond to disk2.hello. Either way. Then we say save. Well, what happened now is that the line was longer than the screen, and instead of wrapping to the next line, the P-System just scrolls everything to the left. But of course it makes it hard to see. So there's a key, so we can go back 20 characters, and so we see, okay, it was saved, excellent. We can exit or return to the editor. No, we will exit. So it's writing. No, it already wrote. Okay, we're back at the top menu. Alright, so finally we can start the compiler by pressing C. Okay, compile, so that doesn't mean yes. I guess I should enter the file name that I want to compile. So that would be puser hello. We should compile it to hello, let's say O for object code, even though it is actually object code. There we go. I think it's doing its thing. 4 lines compiled. And that's it. So it seems that this worked. Excellent. And we're right again in the main menu. You see at the top edit run. And run is exactly what I want to do. So R. Oh, that's nifty. I didn't even have to type in the name of the compiled program. It just ran it anyway. And there you go. It says hello world, as it should. Okay, as for a little status update, so the P-Code system has been working for a couple of months by now, and right now I'm working on the final PCB layout compared to the last prototype. I'm exchanging the power regulator, and I'm adding an external power supply connector. And then I'm rearranging the connectors a little bit. So there's some work to do, but I hope to be finished in 1 or 2 weeks. Once that is done, I can do some software updates, so everything is coming along quite nicely. But as soon as I have something to present, I'll post it, of course, in the AtariAge channel. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.